sauce. I've used that for sea scallop. And this one is pepper sauce.
Daniel Petit will tell you the secret is in the sauce. He was telling me the story this week as he was preparing one of his final meals he will create at his famous little French restaurant in the heart of the Colorado Rockies. He says the sauce, but then he adds, well, presentation is important, and, well, the bread has to be just right. And, of course, freshly chopped vegetables, a good wine, and you can't forget, it has to taste delicious. Oh, and don't forget dessert. Petit will admit it takes really hard work and dedication to open a restaurant in a small Colorado town in the 1980s, a French restaurant to boot.
We used to travel around, pick up Canyon City. Just thought it was not too far from Pueblo, Colorado Springs. And we just buy this property in '86, and it was a duplex. And we buy the house next door, was a duplex also. And we just remodeled. And on the beginning...
The year was 1957. Petit was born on a farm in the Chablis region of Burgundy, about 90 miles south-southeast of Paris in the small town of Parley. He had two older brothers who would go to work on the family farm. Daniel's mother, Gilberte, would teach him how to cook, and that's where it all began.
And just to watch my mother cooking and all that, I enjoyed all that, and I just say I need to go that direction. And that's what I did. I did my apprenticeship. I was done with school age 20, and from 20 I did the military for 1 year.
Following formal training, Petit would go to work for Club Med and travel the world. He would come to Colorado in the early 80s and work for a restaurant in Denver for 3 years, before deciding it was time for a place of his own. Luck, or destiny, would land him in Canyon City, Colorado. He would buy an aging duplex on Royal Gorge Boulevard and set off with his big plans. But the banks didn't quite see it that way.
On the beginning, it was no one bank wanted to loan me the money to remodel it because nobody thought a French restaurant would make it in this town.
The original home the restaurant is in was built in 1888 on what was then known as River Street, on land once owned by Ansel Rudd. The Rudd cabin sits just a half a block away. River was once just a tree-lined residential street similar to Harrison or Greenwood, just a couple blocks to the north. The home was originally built for a doctor. Charles Keyes, shown standing here in front of the house, would purchase it in 1925. Key's daughter, Muriel, and her husband, Gurley Smith, on the horses to the left, would purchase the home in 1951 following the death of Charles Keyes. When Muriel and Gurley Smith stopped by during World War II, the neighborhood was already starting to change. The main thoroughfare through town would shift from Main Street to River Street. River was renamed Royal Gorge Boulevard in 1974. By the time Petit bought the building in 1986, it had been converted into a duplex.
So my family came from France to help us to do some work and also money-wise to bring some money to pay for material and on and on. And it took 3 years to do so.
And then you finally opened. During those years, Petit would drive back and forth from Colorado Springs, where he was the chef at the Cheyenne Mountain Resort, while he built his dream in Canyon City. During renovations, Petit would purchase some windows and the staircase of the Skoglund home on 15th and Main when it was being torn down to make room for a new post office. It would now become part of the new restaurant. On September 15th, 1989, Le Petit, his name, Chablis, the region he is from, La Petit Chablis would open its doors for business.
How's it going? It's going. It's your last trip here, huh?
And business was good. For years, La Petite Chablis has been recognized as one of the best restaurants in Colorado.
Oh, it's the stuff. Don't that look chewy and good? Then we gotta put the garlic butter on after. And make it look good.
Michelle Ruggieri would go to work as a waitress here in 1993. She worked just as hard as Daniel, and she was quickly promoted to general manager. And in 2005, she and Daniel would marry. The couple was married in the courtyard between their home and the restaurant. If running a successful restaurant wasn't enough work, in 2010 they would buy the home to the east and open a French bakery. Though they loved them both, Daniel and Michelle knew they couldn't do this forever.
And we sold the bakery first. That was probably the easy piece to sell. And we wanted to sell the house with the restaurant because we thought that would be very convenient to somebody to buy the business and have a residence next to the business, because we did that for 30 years. But the restaurant was another ball game. Nobody thought they can replace me. And they thought if they buy the restaurant, I need to come with it. And that would not happen.
No, he goes with me.
On Tuesday, October 4th, 2022, the building will have new owners. Plans are to keep it as a restaurant, perhaps with a German fare. Daniel, of course, never plans to stop working, but from now on it will be mostly for the two of them, or perhaps a special event or two. The couple has no plans to leave Canyon City. They already live in their new home north of town. Daniel's dad, Jacques, who helped with the renovations, passed in February of this year, so his mother, Shelbert, is planning to come visit for a month or so in the near future. Future plans for Daniel and Michelle are still in the development stages, but hey, it's still early. They just served their last meal last night.
Because I think we have very hard working days that we've been doing, and I feel like we need to slow down.
As for the Petit Chablis, au revoir. That's another edition of Throwback Thursday. Thanks to Daniel and Michelle Petit, Ronald Smith, and Lisa Stutz, and the Royal Gorge Regional Museum and History Center for keeping those memories alive. I'm Chris Jenkins.